Hey guys, welcome to another video of Asphalt 9. So in today's video, I'll give you some tips regarding multiplayer when you are playing with high speed cars, especially S-Class cars in Legend League. I'll tell you how to climb up the rating, what are the safest routes to follow, what are the mistakes to avoid, so that you can also reach highest rating, which is 9099. If we consider all the locations, there are more than 100 track variants, so it's not possible to teach all the variants within one video. The video will become too long. So what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to do a series on multiplayer tips and tricks, and this will be the first episode of the series. So let's get started. So the first tip is on Nevada long run track. When you reach at this point, normally we'll have a tendency to go for that yellow nitro bottle, but that is kind of risky. There are chances to wreck, so better avoid it and follow the right route, which is safe. See, in multiplayer, you don't want to showcase your TLE skills. Multiplayer requires different skill and TLE requires a different skill. In daily events and TLEs, you have the room of taking risks and making mistakes. But in multiplayer, you don't have a room of making mistakes at all. One mistake and you are gone, minus 20. And it's very frustrating if you are playing at very high ratings, like above 90. Because it takes a lot of races to reach that rating. If you have already seen my multiplayer videos, you would know how many races does it take to reach 9099 rating. So there is no room of making mistakes, so better avoid all the risky routes, just take the safest routes which you are confident of. So that was my first tip. Second tip is on the same track. When it's about to finish, when you reach at this point, you see a barrel roll over here. Better to avoid taking this barrel roll, because when you jump from the previous ramp, the speed is too high and you are doing a 360. So sometimes it's very hard to control the car, bring it into a straight line and then take this barrel. With slow cars it's easy because your brain senses have that much amount of time to think and act. But with S-Class cars, it's very risky to do it. Unless you are very confident, I would say just avoid it, just like I avoided in this race. So that was my second tip. Third tip is on cave heat track. So when the race starts, you get a ramp on the left hand side, and what you do is you execute this speed trick with a forced barrel. Here I am doing it because I am driving Batista, which is a slow car, on Himalayas, which is a top speed track. So I have to compete with my opponents. So that's why I am taking all the speed tricks. But normally when you are driving a fast car like Bugatti Chiron or any car above that, normally I would avoid it because if I make a mistake while taking this speed trick, it will actually slow my car down or I will wreck. So better to avoid this thing. Because with fast cars, since it's a top speed track, you have ample amount of time to catch up. It's not like I am discouraging you to do any speed tricks. If you are confident, go ahead and do it. Purpose of this video is just to tell you what are the safest routes in multiplayer. While in daily events, I will encourage you to always do this speed trick. So that was my third tip. The next tip is on the same track. When you reach at this point, normally you will have a tendency to go for forced barrel over here. But in multiplayer, just avoid it, because if you are unable to make it, again it's risky and you might wreck or you might lose rating. So just play safe and go straight or do a 360 over here. That was my fourth tip. The next tip is on New York City that never sleeps track. When you reach this tunnel, you might have seen people wrecking at this wall when they exit the tunnel. So with high speed cars, what you do is either stop your nitro or press single nitro like I just did. So this tip might work in daily events also sometimes, but with high speed cars in multiplayer, that's the way to go. So that was my tip number 5. The next tip is on City by the Bay. So when you reach at this point, when your car goes in the air, normally I would hit this top road first and then I would fall down the bottom road so that I get airspeed twice. But in multiplayer with fast cars, I would avoid this because it's very risky. You might wreck or your car might topple and you won't be able to take this barrel. So after taking the last ramp, just land down straight on the left. So that was my sixth and the last tip for today. So let me know how helpful are these tips. I'll try to make such tips for most of the tracks in the coming videos. And as you get more and more confident about the risky routes which I showed in the video, you can go ahead and start trying those in multiplayer once you have the confidence. So thanks guys for watching. Take care, bye bye, and see you in the next video.